A fascinating glimpse at medieval desserts. The word dessert originated during the medieval era. Desserts back then were obviously different to the types of desserts we have now, and it is interesting to find out what was typically served for dessert in the Middle Ages. Aged cheese and mulled wine was served after almost every dinner, and, by the later part of the medieval era, sugar, honey or syrup-covered fruits were also served. Sugar was viewed as a drug as well as a sweetener. Having been recently introduced from Europe, it was considered a luxury item and added to all kinds of dishes, even savory ones. Only the rich could afford sugar, however. Flans and tarts were well loved in medieval times, and it is thought that rice pudding also dates from that era. A lot of these dessert recipes are still around today, and some have not changed very much at all. In fact, today's jello cheesecake is not that dissimilar in flavor or texture from a medieval jam-topped cheese tart. Other well-known Middle Ages treats, sugar-topped crepes, fritters, and sweet custards, were popular medieval desserts. Garrioles, which were eggs and almond milk in a pastry shell, were served, and fried dough or pastries with sweet fillings was popular in Germanic areas. Almond milk was used in desserts more than cow's milk because it stayed fresh for longer. Marzipan was popular in southern France and Italy by the early 1400s, and it is thought to have originated from the Arab regions. Tarts with cherries, plums, apples, and strawberries were well known, and flower petals like violets, roses and elderflowers were used as a garnish for medieval desserts. Wafers and waffles were enjoyed with cheese in the north of France, and candied ginger with aniseed, coriander, or other spices was served at the end of a meal to aid with digestion. Recipe for a medieval tart with custard. This creamy and flavorful tart was popular in France in the Middle Ages. You can make it without the crust if you prefer. If you want to do that, use a double boiler instead of a pie dish. The combination of nutmeg and cinnamon was popular in medieval times. Other popular spices included saffron, cloves and ginger. You will need 4 eggs, 4 cups milk, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg, 2/3 cup white sugar, 1 pie crust, 3/4 cup water, butter and flour. For the pie dish, how to make it: preheat the oven to 450 degrees F. Bring the sugar and milk to a boil in a pot. Then let it cool down. Stir the water into the sweetened milk, then return it to the heat and keep stirring it until it reaches a boil. Beat the eggs, and then stir them into the milk. Grease and flour a pie dish. Roll out the pie crust and put it in the dish, then pour in the egg mixture and bake the tart for half an hour. Serve chilled or at room temperature. A fascinating glimpse at medieval desserts. The word dessert originated during the medieval era. Desserts back then were obviously different to the types of desserts we have now, and it is interesting to find out what was typically served for